On Kenya's rugged rally tracks, dust clouds rise and engines roar, and at the center of it all are two women rewriting the rules. Driver Pauline Shegu and navigator Lynette Ayuko have become a powerful force in the country's motorsport scene.
One of the reporters, a sports reporter called Omole Asiko, we used to work together in the newsroom. He approached me and asked me if I could join them in the team because they wanted to put in their names. And I told them, okay, if that's what you want, just put my name, then you go and do your rally, your thing. I was not very keen on it because I didn't feel like that was my thing. I felt that was a male sport. So because they just wanted a lady and I used to drive my normal car. So
my journey is interesting. I got into motorsports to overcome the fear of cars. My dad unfortunately passed on in a normal car. And then my mom is a quick driver, so I used to scream and break the armrest of her car. And then my friends told me on my birthday in 2010, let's go to rally school.
Competing in the iconic Safari Rally Kenya, part of the Global World Rally Championship, the duo have earned admiration for their courage and teamwork on some of the toughest rally stages in the world. But their journey goes beyond racing.
I've been doing it for the last 15 years. Professionally, I'm a project management professional and I'm also Rotary President of KAI.
My first navigator was Kimaru Kipchilat, based at State House. And my objective has always been to inspire women. Choosing a woman, I've always wanted to tell women out there that this thing can be done by women.
With her, I've never ruled. Mistakes happen in rally cars. With different drivers, I've had 9 different accidents. I have come out alive, so that one I thank God for. But the thing is, it can happen between you two. Like in last year Safari, I think I called for her a note and her mind had switched off a bit. And we ended up on a rock. And we had to get ourselves out of the rock because you're not allowed outside assistance. And that
Together, the pair proudly carry the title Queens of the Dust, symbolizing resilience, passion, and the drive to challenge stereotypes. And as the world celebrates International Women's Day, their story stands as a reminder that courage and ambition can drive change even on the dustiest of roads.
You do not want a mistake on your name. That's the one thing about motorsports, because if you make a driver not finish a rally, no other driver can sit with you.
My son was around somewhere here. Though he's not a motorsport fanatic, he only comes when he hears mom has rolled.
Do it afraid in any space, because even rally is not something we know what will happen tomorrow.
Driver Pauline Shegu and navigator Lynette Ayuko continue to inspire many in Kenya's motorsports community, showing that with teamwork and determination, women can thrive even in the toughest racing environments.
And also, we ourselves are now mentoring other people, so anyone who wants to get into the sport, they can reach out. We are always available to train. We were in Uganda with Pauline in November.
For TV47, I'm Linda Alela.
Good morning. Karibuni sana to Monday Blitz. I am Katila Macy and I'm not alone. Niko na Papa Fred Arocho, but wacha kwanza ni introduce Arocho. Arocho uko poa?
Niko poa.
Kabisa.
I'm glad to be back on the show. Manake hapa ndio tunapatiana maneno.
You look so tired.
Well, I'm just receiving a very sad news. I'm just receiving very sad news that former Harambee Stars coach Engin Firat has passed away.
Wow.
In fact, I'm going through some news, some article here of the passing on of Engin Firat, the immediate former coach
of Harambee
Stars. He passed away due to complications, and they're still filtering in, so that's why I'm a bit engaged on my gadget.
Well, so sorry to Engin Firat and his family, and of course to all the players that he interacted with. But before we start our show of today, just a quick one, a question of the day, and let's interact on our Facebook, on our social media platforms, on our Facebook page, TV47 Kenya, WhatsApp 0793-267-279. This is the question of the day. Which team do you think will win the FA Cup? Give us your answers. Tuchapiane on X, TV47, KE, Facebook, and pale WhatsApp. Drop your predictions. All right. Which team do you think will win the FA Cup this season? Tuchapiane Instagram, TV47 Kenya, X, TV47 Digital, Facebook at TV47 Kenya, and WhatsApp number 0793-267-279. Let's start off, Fred Arocho. The Safari Rally, I think inaanza kesho, and Kenya wako ready. So which drivers do you think will shine in the Safari Rally? And of course Toyota imekuwa hapo, it has been supporting this for the past 4 years, I believe. Let's talk about the Safari Rally starting tomorrow, and of course Toyota dominating the Safari Rally.
Well, Toyota has been quite dominant in this World Rally. In the last about 6 or so editions, Toyota has been emerging as victorious. Look at the fact that out of 18 World Rally Championship, Toyota has won 15. So for me, I feel that Toyota is still going to win. Though this time around, it's going to be a bit different. The terrain around Naivasha and the environs is slightly different. The rain that we've experienced a lot of rain in the last 72 hours. So I'm seeing a lot of muddy kind of surface, which will give the rally a different kind of experience. Yes, we've been experiencing rain, but this is different. It was quite, the rain that hit the country was quite colossal, if I may use that word. So basically, it's going to be different. I hope that the organizers are going to do things differently this day. This is, for me, a very polite request. I hope that they're going to make sure that the movement of people is not going to be hampered by the rally. I think 2-3 seasons ago, it was a nightmare around Naivasha, having in mind that Naivasha-Nakuru highway is the major highway connecting about 3 or 4 countries. So I hope that the plan is done well. Last season it was better. I saw the jam was not there. So I hope that things are going to be well, and I'll be preparing to be part of the team that is going to be in Naivasha over the weekend.
Arocho, people are currently saying that this World Rally, haina ile mbwembwe, the kelele that has been there, do you think it's because of the rain, or do you think something is just off because of the Safari Rally? Others even didn't know that Safari Rally is going to be in Naivasha. The kelele is not there.
No, you know, the kelele comes with the finances. You need to sink in a lot of money to market such an event. You remember when it came back after a very long time, the government put in a lot of money in terms of marketing and making people aware that the event is coming up. So I think the finance has been reducing, the kind of money that has been put in this event. But I hope that this week will pick up as far as guys knowing more about the event. I think Cape Media will be part of the team that will be there on Friday and Saturday to cover the event.
Thank you so much, Arocho. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, before we listen to the drivers, I am joined by the beautiful Namiso Nafuna. Welcome to Monday Blitz.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're looking so beautiful, Nakafua.
So are you.
Anyway, let's talk about this World Rally. It's starting tomorrow. And are you going to Naivasha to Nziapo?
Definitely. I am so looking forward to it. It's one of the most anticipated events, according to me. So, mimi tayari. My mind is ready in Naivasha as we speak. Yeah.
Before we move on, let's listen to the drivers. Remember, Elfin L. Evans is currently the defending champion. Let's listen to the drivers.
Of course, we're not to see the recce yet, so we're not fully aware of what conditions we're going to face. I mean, it's, by the sounds of it, it's been pretty wet in the lead up to the rally. So, yeah, the recce will be quite important to take good notes and of course, to try and get a lie of the land. But, yeah, until then, it's difficult to predict too much. Yeah, of course, last year was quite close in the end, but of course, the weakest point of the season for us was the mid-season. Specifically the dry gravel rally, so definitely looking to improve in those areas, but of course it's a long championship. We need to keep a similar level of performance, but of course find some key events where maybe we didn't perform as well last year to look for improvements. Safari Rally is one of those events that's very, very wide open. Many things can happen during the week. You also need a little bit of luck on your side, I think, to go through Rally Kenya week with no issues. So yeah, you can never feel too confident here, I don't think. But of course, we're here to aim as high as we can and deliver our best. Well, of course, it's a cool event. It's one of the iconic events on the calendar, and of course, to be able to win it is quite nice. But of course, you know, it's the championship is the ultimate goal, and so yeah, all we really need from the weekend is to have a strong performance and a nice haul of points.
Yeah, last year was my first time doing the Safari Rally. Really exciting. It's more like an adventure compared to some of the rallies, and a really unique event. So was happy to do it, and to be I was fourth last year, so it was actually, the result was still pretty solid for the first time. But yeah, for this time I would say I try to have a little bit better pace. Even it's a tricky rally in a way. You need to trust your speed to make sure that you go through and not to get any issue, because that can be sometimes really challenging. But at the same time, you need to find the sections where you can push to make a good time. So I try to be a little bit more competitive this time, to be even closer to the front. But yeah, at the same time, you need to be still clever. There is many tricky key stages. I would say it's easy to make some mistakes on almost on all of the stage. But yeah, we need to maybe mention the Sleeping Warrior, which is always really a difficult stage, a long stage. Normally you see a lot of animals on the stage, which is really cool, unless they are in the middle of the road. And at the same time, it's a long stage, and you can face really different conditions throughout the stage. So that's maybe the one to mention. Yeah, I'm trying to prepare for it, of course, the best we can. It's something really unique you normally face only on this event and not so much on the other events. I don't know this time how the weather has been affecting the road, because it has been raining a lot, so maybe the fresh isn't so bad this year. This is just wondering. I didn't see the stage so far, but just guessing. But yeah, it's some really unique. You need to have some good strategy before you go enter this tricky section to make sure you go through.
There you have it. I hope the Safari Rally itatubamba, and Nafuna and I will be in Naivasha.
Absolutely.
Hope so. Now let's move on to the English Premier League. We didn't have matches this weekend, but Arsenal are currently leading the table with 30 matches played. They're having 67 points, and Manchester City following with 60 points, 7 points behind Arsenal with 1 game at hand. Arocho, do you think it's too early to say that Arsenal will win this league? Man City are coming in hot, because if you look at Arsenal playing 4 tournaments, 3. The FA, the Carabao final is waiting for them, and the UEFA Champions League. Let me start with you, Arocho.
Well, I think it's still too early to make it certain that Arsenal are going to win the league. I'm looking at the upcoming matches. They still have a very tough derby against West Ham. West Ham are not doing well in the league, so it will be a do or die for West Ham. And something about derbies in London, they're normally very different in terms of the attendance, in terms of the atmosphere in the city before that match. So it makes it a different kind of a ball game. Remember that Arsenal also has to play Manchester City. That's also going to be a crunch match. Another reason why I feel that Arsenal is still not certain of winning the league is the number of matches that are coming up, the congestion of matches. Arsenal is still playing in the Champions League, something that I'm sure will take a toll on their fitness, on their mental strength. So when you bring in these two factors, you'll realize that it's still way too early to say that Arsenal is going to win the league. But on the flip side, City is also having big matches coming up. Why am I calling them big? They might not be big matches on paper, but the last outing where City lost a match, was it against Newcastle? For me, it gave an indicator that still all is not well at Man City. So this is the reason why I feel that Arsenal still has to wait. The congestion of matches and the big matches coming up. Remember, they're still playing 4 tournaments: the FA, Carabao, Champions League, and the league. The good thing about FA over the weekend is that it's a tournament that when you move from one, the 5th round to the 4th round, or the 4th round to the 5th round, you bring in money. So there's a lot of money that comes in with the tournament, but the fatigue is also going to creep in.
To you, Namiso Nafuna, what do you think about the English Premier League? Do you think Arsenal will win this league, or Man City is coming? Or maybe Manchester United fans are saying if they lose, if they do this and this and this. What's your take on the English Premier League?
I am actually convinced that Arsenal might win the league. Looking at Man City, plus the yellow cards that they've been suffering, we also understand that Pep is facing a possible too-much ban. I feel like City are not hot on their heels as expected, and they've given Arsenal a chance to shine. So if Arsenal keep up with the momentum, they might actually end up winning the league. But then again, as Arocho said, they are playing a couple of cups, and that might lead to exhaustion. So I think it's also very important when they're looking at the lineup and everything, to look at the exhaustion part and balance things out. But as it is right now, I am 100% convinced that Arsenal will win the league. I am a Manchester United fan, but looking at the statistics and everything, they do stand a good chance of winning.
Let's take a look at Arsenal fixtures coming up next, because on Saturday 14th, they are facing Everton. They'll be at home. Bournemouth, Manchester City, Sunday 19th. If you look at from March, I think they'll rest, and then from April, only 8 days difference. It's a tough. The fixture is very tough. Everton, Bournemouth, Man City, Newcastle, Fulham, West Ham, Burnley, and Crystal Palace. And let's also have a look at Manchester City fixtures. Give us Manchester City fixtures. As you can see, Manchester City currently 7 points behind Arsenal with 1 game at hand. Man City are playing West Ham, Crystal Palace, Chelsea. They're also playing Arsenal, Burnley, Everton, Brentford, Bournemouth, Aston Villa. It's not an easy road for both teams, and as we've seen, Manchester City has been somehow, they're not at their best. I don't know what is happening at Pep Guardiola, and Arteta is so focused on winning this cup. Remember, the last time Arsenal won was in 2004. The last time they won the English Premier League. So, Arocho, to you, Arsenal are hoping to win a treble, the FA Premier and UEFA Champions League.
Well, once again, I'm going to reiterate my initial point. I'm looking at derbies. When I compare the two teams, I'm not seeing any derby that City is having in the near future. They've already played United. But when I'm looking at Arsenal playing against Fulham, that is another very strong match. And once again, I'm going to say what I said earlier about derbies. They're totally different. And when you look at the history of London derbies, they're normally very explosive, there's a lot of inconsistency in terms of the results. So the Crystal Palace and the Fulham matches, for me, are going to be deciders. And of course, when the two teams, that is City and Arsenal, get to fight it out. But now it will depend on the nerves of the individual players. I was so somehow disappointed with Arsenal when they, I think they picked a draw against Wolves. I look at the reaction of their players. I look at the way the players reacted after the final whistle. Arsenal needs players with strong mentality. I've not seen players with strong mentality as Arsenal. But having said that, I think other than Mahalis, who stepped up in the last match when Arsenal played, I've not seen any other player who has stepped up to be a leader the way Vieira used to be a leader at Arsenal. So you also need leadership. On the flip side, City are also suffering from their own mistakes. I still believe that Kevin De Bruyne ought not to have left the team. There was still some gas in Bruyne to help the team move. When Rodri stepped up to that position and got an injury, the team crumpled. And I'll echo your sentiments when you said that City are still not at their best. So we are looking at two teams that are still not well oiled for contention. And the fact that they're still playing in the Champions League is not giving them any rest. Because City is playing, is it Real Madrid?
Real Madrid,
on Wednesday?
Yeah.
That is a big match. So when you move from a big match against Real Madrid, then you come back to the league, you're bound to have some fatigue, you're bound to get some injuries, and all this will bring down the two teams.
Before we come to Namiso, let's look at the top scorers, the top assist of the English Premier League right now. Currently, Bruno Fernandes from Manchester United is the best with 13 assists, and then followed by Mohamed Salah of Liverpool with 7 assists, with Ryan Cherky and Erling Haaland, and then we have Jack Grealish of Everton. Give me for the top scorers, kindly, if you don't can see the top scorers, kindly, is it Erling Haaland? Yeah, it's Erling Haaland of Manchester City with the 22, and then Igor Thiago of Brentford is following keenly with 18 goals, 4 goals behind. And then we have Semenyo of Man City with 15, the fact that he just signed. And then João Pedro, Chelsea, 14 points, and then Hugo Ekitike of Liverpool with 18. I think this season, do you think still Erling Haaland will take the Golden Boot, Arocho? Namiso, sorry.
I believe he will. We have seen his consistency, and as you can see at the moment, he's the top scorer and he's leading with so many goals. So I believe he will. If he keeps up with the momentum, there is no competition.
Arocho, do you agree?
Yes, I believe he'll do it. Look at that he didn't play. I think in the last league match he was rested.
Yeah.
And he's still up there. I like his mentality. Football is 70% mental game. Because being a team sport, you guys have to be strong mentally. And I like the way he comes back from injuries and the way he packages himself. So in terms of goal scoring, I still see him doing well. Though once again, the matches coming up are not that easy. You look at Arsenal, their goals are spread across. That is one positive thing about Arsenal this season. They don't depend on any particular player to score their goals, unlike City, because look at the 22 goals that he scored for City, vis-a-vis the total of goals that City has scored so far in the league. So basically, a good team is a team that the goals are spread across in the defense, in the midfield, or anybody else can score. So that should be a positive for Arsenal, because you don't basically depend on anyone.
Thank you so much, Arocho. Now let's come back to the country. Let's talk about WAFCON postponement. I believe you were here when Annette said there are rumors that WAFCON can be postponed, and Harambee Starlets had traveled, but they jetted back in the country after the postponement. Arocho, let's talk about this. As you said, football is a 70% mental. Now, if you're well prepared, you've traveled, the team is there, the coach has named her best squad, and then you hear that it has been postponed. What do you think will happen in Africa? Like right now, you know, what it means to women in football in Africa when they postpone such, because there is no that hakuna ile kelele. You see, the way AFCON was there, the noise was everywhere, but we've not seen that during these WAFCON, because even some people wajui kama ni WAFCON, they just know Harambee Starlets wameenda friendly, wameenda France to prepare, but now the postponement, how does it affect the women footballers in Africa?
I don't know if I'll say it's fortunately or unfortunately I'm having ladies on the show. Now, I want to be hard on CAF. CAF are not serious in terms of their decisions. Going back to how they handled CHAN, there was a lot of inconsistencies. I feel that CAF should stamp its authority when it comes to hosting these showcases. Why am I saying so? Let's take an example. A journalist from Kenya who had already booked his accommodation and traveling plans. What happens? It's unheard of in the modern world. And I believe that as a continent, we need to make sure that we stick to our plans. Though I might be a bit, I might be a bit fair when I bring in the Morocco factor. I think Morocco just want to host this tournament. South Africa were requested to come in as a plan B, but I think they also needed time to prepare. After the Morocco fiasco in the finals of AFCON, I think Morocco are now reluctant to as a government, not as a federation, but as a government, they are reluctant to have any CAF event within their soil. So I'll bash CAF. They need to make decisions. They need to stick to their decisions, because this is a qualifier for the World Cup. The teams that are going to represent Africa are going to be picked from this event. Now, this will, in one way or the other, hamper Africa's preparation for the Women World Cup. So once again, CAF needs to stamp the authority, and what Morocco is trying to do in somehow trying to sabotage the free flow of football in Africa should not be encouraged. They need to stamp the authority and make sure that if it's South Africa coming in, let them bring in South Africa and let's have our dates way early.
To you, Namiso, what do you think about the postponement of WAFCON? After all the preparations, after all the traveling, after everything?
It is very sad to see that happening in such a big tournament. And I feel like that is a failure in the side of planning. And that is something that should not be happening at this age and era. And when you look at it closely, just as Arocho said, that is a qualifier for the women's for World Cup, you know. So right now, at the moment, definitely it will affect how the national team selection for World Cup. Definitely, it was a game that was supposed to give our ladies, our women, exposure to prepare them mentally and physically for what's coming ahead. So right now, having traveled and then you come back, you know, even your morale goes down. You're kind of feeling like, this is not it. So I feel like they should definitely pull their boots up and they should improve so that we avoid these inconsistencies that are happening, and so that we also avoid this from happening in future.
They have it, so now still on the here in Kenya. Yesterday something happened, Arocho, if you remember the Mozambique Cup, and it was so surprising that Baby Bread beat Gor Mahia. I remember, Arocho, we had this talk and I told you they beat FC, and I told you it's a very good team. Baby Bread is a very good team. I saw them play against Maringo United some time back in their league, and I believe yesterday it pulled a surprise. It pulled a surprise that Baby Bread has beaten the #1 team in the SportPesa League. Arocho, were you expecting that Bibi tapiga Gor Mahia?
Well, I was not expecting that. I want to be honest. I attended that match, and football was defeated yesterday. Why am I saying football was defeated? Bibi Bread, Gor Mahia had all the possession. They had all the attack. They had all the control of the match, but they didn't get the goal. That's why I'm saying football was beaten, because Bibi Bread got one chance. and they scored. But it happens in soccer. This is not the first time that a small team has performed well in this knockout tournament. Remember, some time back, we had the likes of Rivertex in Eldoret. We had the likes of Mathare United. Remember that Mathare United won this very tournament when they were still in the lower league, beating very big teams. They won against FC Leopards in the semi-finals of that edition. But it should be a turning point for Gor Mahia. It should be a wake-up call for Gor Mahia. I saw a very disjointed team in Gor Mahia. I saw a team that was not inspired yesterday. There was nothing to inspire the team. Yes, they had some of their big players in the likes of Alpha Nyango not playing that much. In the first half, in the second half, sorry, they brought in several other players who they thought perhaps could rejuvenate the team, but the team did not tick. So it should be a wake-up call for Gor Mahia, and I've been saying it on this show. This Gor Mahia is not convincing. I've watched Gor Mahia play against Muranga Seal. They won against Muranga Seal, but I was not convinced that these are the league contenders. They played against Bidco, the same thing happened. They won against Bidco after going down, but I was still not convinced. The other day, they won against Mathare United in the dying second. No, they picked a draw. They equalized about 5 or so minutes before the game ended. So it's a team that is still not convincing. And I fear for Kenya, if in any case, Gor Mahia in its current state will represent us in the Champions League.
Before I come to you, Namiso, let's listen to what the players had to say. Because the fans yesterday were very angry with the coach had to be escorted, Coach Charles Okono. Let's listen to the players about yesterday's game.
Mchezo wenyewe naweza sema imekuwa mzuri. Vijana wamejituma, tukazingatia yale mwalimu alituambia na matokeo ndio hiyo imetoka vizuri. Ndio hivyo, katika mpira hakuna mnyonge. Juu mpira ni ile ile. Mchezaji ni mchezaji. So usiangalie unacheza daraja gani. Unapoingia uwanjani unaenda na aim moja, ushindi. Of which ndio hiyo vijana wamejituma poa na tumetoa ushindi kwa siku ya leo pia. Changamoto ni kuwa wengi wachezaji wanaocheza BB kwa hakika hawajacheza kiwango cha juu sana. So hiyo pressure wanapoingia kiwanjani kidogo wengine wana hiyo utepetevu, lakini ndio hivyo tunasukuma, tunawapatia moral na ndio hii tunasonga.
Imekuwa ngumu kulingana na level tulikuwa tunacheza nayo. Tulikuwa tunajua game ni itakuwa hard, itabidi tukimbie sana, but tunashukuru kwa hiyo chance moja tumepata na tukafunga. Gor Mahia uko juu, tunawaheshimu sana na tunawish all the best. Hii ni tournament na sisi ndio tumeweza kuproceed, so tunasema asante kwa Mungu.
To you, Namiso, did you expect that the same team that beat AFC Leopard will beat Gor Mahia?
To me, it didn't come as a surprise. I think when it comes to the competitions matches, small teams tend to overdo. You know, they try to do as much as possible. And it's, what do I say? Like when you know you're facing a very big opponent, you bring all you have to the table. And I was listening to Coach Justin akisema through the week, they were looking at Gor Mahia games. They were analyzing. So it came at, I think, pia waliangalia tactics za Gor Mahia, and they mastered them, and that's how they managed to beat them. So it's a team to definitely look out for.
Baby Bread, it's a very good team. Now still, Arusha, do you think that Nai Boys, the defending champions?
Well, before we speak about Nai Boys, yes. I'm not seeing, with all due respect to BB Bread, I'm not seeing them going any far.
Actually, this team beat AFC.
Yes.
This team beat Gor Mahia.
With all due respect.
Exactly.
And I've watched them play. They're so good.
No, with all due respect, I was at the pitch yesterday. There was nothing spectacular about
it. Why are you saying that, Arucho?
There was nothing spectacular.
But you can see the results.
Yes.
You always say a win is a win.
Yes, I gave them the accolades initially in my opening statement. But I still believe that they don't have that kind of mental strength to win. Gor Mahia were beat and disadvantaged in their midfield. I saw Fidel Origa playing so well, but I think there was a lot of inconsistency in the passing. Ernest Wendo was not at his best in that midfield yesterday. So the likes, you know, we are still having big teams playing this edition, because somebody was trying to imagine BB Bread playing in the Champions League or even the Confederations Cup. But I was telling whoever I was having that conversation with that we are still having the likes of Shabana in this tournament.
Yes.
We are still having the likes of Tusker, who are very strong. And you know, now everybody else who is going to play BB Bread is not going to be somehow reluctant. I said that Gor Mahia started with some players who might not be starting. Fidel Origa came in from Bandari, but he's not been a starter. Ernest Wendo has not played for some time, but he got his opportunity yesterday. I'm not looking down upon these players. What I'm trying to say is now everybody else will come with their A game playing against BB Bread.
Yeah, sure.
And the fairy tale trip for me is over.
Now, before we move on to the defending champions about Nai boys, let's probably reminder of our question of the day. Who do you think will win the FA Cup? And I want to read out some of your feedback. Remember, WhatsApp number 0793267279. Facebook Kenya on Facebook, and TV47 Digital on X. And Instagram is TV47KE. And here are some of your feedback of the question of the day. Hamisi Bosco Duncan. Hamisi Bosco Duncan is saying the mighty Manchester United.
Messi, Manchester United.
Keep the hope alive.
Next season, maybe. Alion's Mustafa is saying, all I know, Manchester City will not win it this season. Thank you so much, Alionski Mustafa. And we have another one from Amani Parmari, say it's either Arsenal or Arsenal. Arsenal fans are so convinced that they'll win a treble. But
well, one thing I like about them, before you you bring in that comment.
Yeah.
The most consistent fans in the world are Arsenal fans. Very consistent.
Some people are saying it's just the same narrative every time. But anyway, let's come to Nai boys defending. Do you think they'll defend their Mozambique Cup title? If you look at the way BB Bread has done, the way the teams are playing, we saw KCB play so good.
I think the competition is very stiff. They can't do that, but they need to up their game. We have seen BB Bread rising, the small teams are rising, so they should be prepared. They might defend, they might actually win it, but they should also not underestimate their competitors, the likes of BB Bread.
I like the narrative that you've just brought. You brought Nairobi United.
Yes.
Well, it's still way too early, because we're still playing the round of 32.
Yeah, round of 32, yes.
So it's still way too early to even start picking whoever might win this edition of the Cup. Because, as you've said, we are having Nairobi United, Police FC is also there. Several teams are still there. So when somebody is trying to zero in on BB Bread, is just being unrealistic. But I'm not trying to take away the glamour out of the BB Bread. They have done so well. A team from Kayole, you could even see they had about a handful of fans who were celebrating. They were quite overjoyed. They couldn't believe that they've won. So it's still a tournament that is still young, if you ask me, in terms of we are still going to play in the quarterfinals. We are still going to play in the semi-finals, and who knows, the eventual winners might come from the very teams that are still remaining.
Still on this, Arocho, let's talk about Shabana. Do you think they might? Wanaweza? Munaweza?
But you know, facts don't lie. Facts don't lie. Shabana played against Moroni Youth in Kisii.
Yeah.
And you know what FC Leopards did against Shabana was a disaster. But I said it on Radio 47 that the next patient, anybody else who's going to play Shabana after FC Leopards is not going to be
face the wrath.
And they did face the wrath. Yes.
Shabana did what we do best. So I'm looking at a final that, if you ask me, time has come that we need to take our finals outside Nairobi.
Yes.
This edition, if you ask me, if Shabana makes it to the finals or somewhere close to the finals, the mega event should be held in Kisii.
Estadio de la Gusii.
Yes, Estadio de la Gusii, where the stadium is well capable of handling this kind of magnitude, and also to make sure that we move the game outside the city, because most of the finals are always played in the city. Time has come that we need to decentralize football and take the finals to Kisii.
What's your take? Should the finals be taken? Do you think Shabana First will go to the finals, and should the final be taken outside Nairobi?
They just might make it to the finals. And it's very nice that they actually managed to bounce back. You know, that defeat was very, very terrible. It was a huge loss to everyone. And it's good to see that they actually, that anger of losing, they harnessed it and now they bounced back very well. And on taking the finals out of Nairobi, it is a good thing. You know, like football is nationwide. Yeah. Si lazima ati kila kitu iki happen, finals nini you have to come to Nairobi. Yeah. So it's actually good if the infrastructure in Kisii is good, we can decide maybe the finals to be there. And not just Kisii, next time maybe elsewhere, and we can just take football everywhere in the country. So that is my take.
Before we move on, let's listen to what Shabana coach had to say after they beat.
Kwa game ya leo tunashukuru tumevuka next stage. Hiyo ndio ya muhimu. Kidogo naweza sema kiwanja haijakuwa nzuri, ukiangalia imekuwa na matope mingi. Najua kutakuwa na hizo strains za players. Kidogo derail speed yetu. Then naweza sema kiwanja imechangia. So naweza sema move to the next stage. We are happy about that, but kidogo tena tunarudi kama team tunajiuliza mbona tuna concede bao, tunapeana easy goals. Ukiangalia tume gift out easy goals. Game ya juzi tumecheza na FC tume gift away goals. So it's a problem na ni kitu ambayo inafaa to handle very fast.
It could have gone either way. But as a tactician, I feel that there were lapses in officiating a bit. That's why in advanced leagues we have the VAR, to revisit, to counter-check certain decisions.
That was more the coaches of the matches that was played. But now something has happened, and when we started the show, Arocho was so down, morale ilikuwa chini, and he has just confirmed. It's confirmed that former Harambee Stars coach Engin Firat has sadly passed away. Arocho, nimeona umejaribu kumpigia simu?
Well, initially when Firat came to Kenya, I'm among the guys who were quite critical because of his record before he came to Kenya. Then he became the national team coach, and then we built a rapport. And the moment I received, the news was still filtering in that he's passed on. I tried calling him on both his two numbers on WhatsApp, and I couldn't really reach him. So now I can see several other prominent journalists have already posted that we've lost Engin, someone who I think was misunderstood. And I'm one of the guys who misunderstood Firat because he came in as a coach who really wanted to build the game in the country, but there was a lot of the turbulence was quite strong then. The politics around Kenyan football and the transition, we were expecting new leadership. But having said that, I was happy to be, I think it was against Namibia. Kenya played Namibia in Johannesburg, and I attended that match. I had a sitting with him, and I really understood who Engin Firat was. Engin was a passionate coach who really loved the game, and he really loved the country, and he couldn't understand why the negatives were coming his way when he was the coach. He took us to very prominent friendlies. That's one thing I would like to say about him. He made sure that Kenya played big friendlies. We played against Russia in his regime. We played against Qatar and various other teams. So it's painful for me and the fraternity to have lost a very good football friend.
May you rest in perfect peace, Engin Firat. Now let's move on to rugby. The round 10 match of the Kenya Cup between KCB and Kabras was abandoned because of the heavy rains. The center referee Kevin Wambugu stopped the game, and by the time it was called off, it was 10-10.
Yes.
Namiso, let's discuss about the heavy rains and the results.
I think the heavy rains factor and the match abandonment has brought us to the main problem, infrastructure. If you look at the grounds, the Ruaraka grounds, terrible grounds, by the way. I feel like if the game was being played elsewhere, for example, in Ngong Road, either at the Harlequins grounds or in the scripts, I feel like we would have continued because they have good grounds and the weather would not have been a problem. But now the Ruaraka grounds are short, small rains, and then suddenly it's like a muddy pitch. You can't even see the pitch markings and everything. So that is one of the major problems. And I hope KCB is a very major team, and they should be able to work on that. They should do something about the ground.
No. Miss, I cannot take that lying down. Mm-hmm. I've been part of KCB. Mm-hmm. Well, this is one of the best pitches in Kenya. I think it's just about the drainage. And of course, the downpour was heavy. Yeah, it was. But I like what you brought out. The bank should also look at how better they can have their facilities kept. But I think in terms of infrastructure, we are failing as a country.
Yes.
Not necessarily within the rugby fraternity, but even
you talked about
yes, even in soccer. Mm-hmm. Even in the general public. Look at the way we handle our drainage. We had rain for 3 hours continuously, and Nairobi was a nightmare. So basically, I think these are just challenges that are giving us as a country indicators mm-hmm. of how we are performing in terms of our infrastructure. So it's shameful. You know, when you look at it, you wonder, are these young kids playing in mud?
Exactly.
Or this is a league? This is a top league, which is quite unfortunate. This was where we used to train when I was playing at KCB. This was the initial pitch where the soccer team used to train. These days, it's left for rugby. So once again, I'll flip-flop. Nitakuwa na kidogo amiso, and then also I'll try and protect the image of the bank.
Let's listen what the players had to say, because after the match was abandoned by referee, let's hear what the players had to say.
The match was okay. We controlled most of the tempo. Unfortunately, it was a wet game. Good thing we controlled our high balls. We did have knock-ons, but we knew it wasn't going to be an easy one. Cabras has always edged us to the corner, but on this one, kudos to the boys. Unfortunately, the match didn't end, but we managed to pick a draw, and we await the results and how the verdict of the game.
We started our journey well. Bringing in these boys have closed a lot of margins for us, where we were and where we are now. So it's a matter of just bringing them in and letting them just blend in seamlessly without seeing the problem. But we like the way they're playing. We like how they have been adapted into the team. And we're enjoying seeing them play, so there will be a big asset for us for a very long time because they're young, and that is where we're heading to as KCB, to be able to see how we're able to mentor the young kids, to be able to take us to the next level.
If you look at the images, if you look at the graphics, man, something really has to be done. Now, Arocho, before we wind up, you've met Engin Firat one-on-one. He has been your friend. So, unamkumbuka nini sana because a lot of people are calling him Tali.
No. In fact, I'm the one among the guys who started that conversation. As a Rocho, I don't believe in foreign expertise, mm-hmm. More so in soccer. Yes. I believe that the talent that we have in Kenya is capable. We might bring in a few here and there, but we need not to depend entirely on foreigners. Now, coming back to your question, is somebody that I have interacted with. I said I traveled with him to Johannesburg when Kenya was playing against Namibia. when Kenya didn't have a home ground, so we played in South Africa. So we went as a national team to South Africa to play that match in Cape Town. He was a good guy. He was misunderstood because when he came into the country, he had 11 matches that he had played. He had not won. He had 9 draws. He lost 9 and picked 2 draws. So me as a journalist, when he came in, I had to analyze his performance, and that's what I brought out. But eventually I came to understand the kind of a gentleman that Engin was. Firat was somebody who loved the game. He is somebody who, even as at now, we still owe him a lot of money. He was in the country for more than a year without any pay. So this is somebody who was so passionate about the game. And once again, I'm saying it on this show, that we as a country misunderstood Engin Firat until eventually when we started posting results and we had very high-profile friendlies in his regime. And I'd like to take this opportunity to wish his family some very... it's a hard time, and we need to wish them well now that Engin is no more.
Namiso, Nafuna.
Yes.
Did you ever interact with Engin Firat? Or what was your take him as Harambee Stars coach during that time?
I did not interact with him directly, but just as Arocho said, I was among the many Kenyans who were very, very skeptical with his presence. And then we started, later on, when the results started coming in, it's when we were like, maybe we should have given him a chance. And it's a very big loss to the football fraternity and to every other person who loved the game. You could see the passion in him. You know, even as Arocho said, he was here, he was doing his job without getting paid, but he never gave up. He instead helped us to soar to great levels, and his contribution to football will never be forgotten. It's a very sad morning. May his soul rest in peace, and we wish grace upon his family members.
Were you satisfied with Engin Firat as Harambee Stars coach?
Initially,
you as an individual.
Initially, as she said, I was skeptical. Because I go by facts.
Yeah,
as
sure.
journalists, you'll go by facts. You somebody is presented, you'll go through his CV and perhaps peruse and get to know him more. But eventually, I started getting to know who Engin was. It was so unfortunate that in his regime, towards the end of his regime, most of our matches were played outside Nairobi, our home matches. Mm-hmm. So the country did not really feel him that much when we were qualifying for the World Cup or even trying to qualifying for WAFCON. So I think we played in Malawi 2 matches, we played 1 in South Africa. So basically our home matches, we didn't really feel him as such. Mm-hmm. But the few moments that we had with Firat as a national team coach, he was so passionate guy. You could feel, you could even see him in the stadium pushing the boys and making sure that we played well. But once again, I'm going to say it on this show, he gave us high-profile friendlies. It's unlike Kenya playing against Russia. We played against Russia, something that even me, I never thought that it could have happened. We even had a shot at times, I think, there was, is it England? There were rumors that we were going to play England or Germany because of the kind of connections and the network that Engin had.
Well, before we wind up, just a polite reminder of the question of the day. We have some few feedbacks that are there. Which team do you think will win the FA Cup this season? WhatsApp 0793-267-279 and Instagram at T47 Kenya, Facebook T47 Kenya, and X TV47 Digital. Let's look at some of the feedback. I can see Colin Skip Kemoikos Gay from Facebook. Team ni moja na ni Gunners. Arsenal fans are very, very ready. Peter Ocheng Ogutu, no, any team but not Arsenal. That's from Facebook, Peter Ocheng Ogutu. And I can see Captain Delalix, since we are winning the quadruple, it will be our 4th trophy for this season. We are the Gunners, Ukichengwa, Tulia. That's Captain from Facebook. Tarquin Kipkogesem, FA means, FA means for Arsenal. The Arsenal fans actually are very, and the last one is Kipto Vincent saying Champions League, Chelsea, Champions League, Chelsea, EPL, Man City, EFL, Arsenal, FA, Chelsea. Anyway, thank you so much, good people, to all the viewers that are in, those who sent their feedbacks. Thank you so much. And thank you so much, Namiso Nafuna.
Thank you for having
Papa.
I really miss Mutiso. Yes, I really miss.
I think Duncan, please bring for us Mutiso. Tafadhali. Bring for us Mutiso. And in fact, naomba sana Arsenali ipigwe and then you bring Mutiso. But thank you so much. It has been Monday Blitz. See you next Monday. I am Katela Macy.